Wow, good morning, YouTube. Good morning. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, 914, which is County, New York. Just rising again from another night here on earth, appreciating what I do have and what I've been going through lately in this life. And it is what it is. A shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I want to give a big shout out to all my subscribers, my chat members, those that are not here. You will catch the playback. I appreciate everyone's support of this channel. Like and share the video. And thank you so much. I truly appreciate your support. I'm not interested in cash apps or none of the other stuff, because if I need money, I just go out on a job and get the money. You know what I mean? I just want and like and enjoy the support that this channel is getting. This channel is growing. Regardless of what anyone says or how anyone thinks or feels, this channel is growing. And I appreciate my chat members, my subscribers. It is what it is. I hope everyone is having an awesome weekend. Our weekend started yesterday. Hope everyone is having an awesome weekend. So as you can see, the title of this video, and if you read the subscription under the title, you know what I'm talking about. And Tupac was right. And before I went to bed last night, some said pull up that song where he was warning what was going to happen. And I pulled up the song. First, I pressed in the lyrics. I pressed in his name. I pressed in the lyrics of that particular song. And the song came up, Keep Your Head Up, by Tupac Shakur. And if you listen to the lyrics, he's telling you exactly what was getting ready to happen in the very near future. And we got some people on this app that enjoys arguing with other people. They enjoy doing it. They enjoy doxing people. They enjoy bringing discomfort to other YouTube creators or certain moderators or certain subscribers. We see that going on in this sector. Shout out to the chat. We see that going on in this sector. I'm surprised that a lot of you have not reported about the Donald Trump situation and what you actually thought about what was going on with that. I got my own opinions. I do. And I'll probably post that later on my community wall if I have not done a video about it. But I'm doing this video today because we have internal problems going on in our communities. And the problems are not starting in the street. They're not starting in the schools. They're not starting on the job. They're not starting in the prison system. None of these other industries would be here without the permission of those that are in certain families. Mother, father, children, sometimes the grandparents live in the home, sometimes the children are raised outside of the home. But I'm starting to see, and people complain about the single mothers, the single mothers, the single mothers. But do you know how many people are sitting in prison right now doing life sentences that come from two-parent homes? Do you realize or do you know that there are children out there in the street selling guns, being part of certain street organizations, and they come from a two-parent home? They don't come from single mothers. A lot of children do come from single mothers, but it's just not just the single mothers are having these issues with domestic violence, child abuse, child neglect, abandonment of the family, sexual abuse. And I believe me and another YouTube creator, we talked about it on her channel, where we talked about there was a high percentage, a high number of male children that get born in the world that are also victims of sexual abuse, sexual maltreatment while they were children. And those men grow up. Some of them get in trouble. Some of them go into gangs. Some of them go into the penitentiary. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to find these men sitting in someone's jail, in someone's rehabilitation place, someone's hospital ward, whether it be mental or just a physical ailment or whatever the case may be. There are high numbers. Didn't Tupac warn us a few years ago there was going to be a generation of children that would be born that would hate the ladies that give birth to babies? That generation is right now. That generation has been here for quite some time. It's been here. And I'm not talking about the planned pregnancy stuff. I'm talking about this stuff has been going on, has been happening, has been taking place. I know it's early in the morning, but I just had that on my mind. And a lot of us, whether some people know it or not, a lot of us are the children and the grandchildren of the civil rights movement. Some of us were born to Black Panthers. Some of us was born to certain people or individuals that were members of the Nation of Islam or members of the Gods and Earths. You got some of us who are the great-grandchildren of those that marched with Marcus Garvey or Noble Drew Ali or Father Grace or Father Divine. This thing is deep. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of those organizations got started to address certain issues that was going on in the Black family. The Nation of Islam, when the Nation of Islam started, it started on a foundation of written books that was passed down from Master Farad to Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad passed it down to his ministers, to those that represented the Nation of Islam, those that ran the temples, those that were part of the Fruit of Islam. Those books still exist to this day. A lot of what was taught within the nation cleaned up a lot of drug addicts, a lot of alcoholics, a lot of people that were criminals. But there was some that was in the temple and they left the temple. He had more members outside of the temple than what he had in the temple at one time. Marcus Garvey, when Marcus Garvey came, he had certain programs in place. But of course, we had some that did not want to, uh, take that on, take those kind of responsibilities on. So certain things still did happen within the family union. But those is where the problems are coming from. They're coming from the homes of certain families, of certain people. You got certain industries. You got 9 industries that run society. 9. You got law enforcement. You got Wall Street. You got the politicians. You got the medical profession. You got religion. You got the media. And you got so many. There's 3 other industries I have not mentioned, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. The military is a part of this. The educational system is a part of this. So you get different things that is a part of helping society move right along. And you don't get born to be a preacher or a mathematician or firefighter or police officer. When these people come to be, they come to be because they have to go through a childhood, then become teenagers, then they become young adults. And during their young adult years, that is how they cultivate themselves on who they become later on in the future. I haven't seen a child be born yet with a police officer uniform on. I haven't seen that one child yet be born with a politician briefcase in their hand. I haven't seen not one preacher or not one nurse or not one doctor get born with the uniforms that those professions wear. I haven't seen it. They have to learn those things from the institutions that they go to, from the universities they go to from the colleges that they go to. But there's a lot of things that you learn from your first teacher, and that is the mother. Tupac said it best. He said it. He said in his song, Dear Mama, all the things that his mother did to keep him and his sister safe and keep them in the home with her. He talked about her being addicted to crack. And that's where a lot of our parents went wrong. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, my mother was a registered member with the Nation of Islam from 1968 to 1974. She went into the temple. Why? To get cleaned up from being a street person. She didn't want to be out on the street doing drugs and alcohol. But that's something that she did. That was something a part of her makeup. So after a few years of sitting with the Nation of Islam, she left the Nation of Islam. She left the temple. She left the mosque. Something that she should not have done. But she did. Shout out to the chat. So it is what it is. But Tupac is right. I was listening to some of his music last night. I listened to Brenda's Got a Baby. I listened to California Love. I listened to Keep Your Head Up. And I listened to Dear Mama. I remember when Tupac died. Tupac died when I was just starting my prison term. I remember that. I remember which institution I was at. I was at Leith Correctional, and I was on the Montague building. I was on the shoe program. Montague program, shoe program, Leith Correctional. That's the female institution over there in Greenwood, South Carolina. It's over there by the airport. Matter of fact, that prison address is Airport Road. Shout out to the chat. I don't know how many times I used to get my different stamp envelopes and had to write letters outside, you know, to keep in touch with people on the outside. So I remembered the address, regardless of what. Just like I remember my SCDC number, 221644. I remember that. I remember that was my name for 6 years and 7 months. Shout out to the chat. I remember the control yard movement. I remember the different policies that came when the new SCDC director was over the prisons. Mr. Skinny remembers that. If Mr. Skinny did time during that time period, Mr. Skinny remembers the changes that happened for the different penitentiaries that was around. At that particular time, I remember when I first went in, because before you go to Leith Correctional, you got to go through the Women's Center. The Women's Center is located right there on Broad River Road. You got to go through the reception center. That means you got to go see the doctors. You got to go see the dentist. You got to go see the social workers. You got to go see whoever you need to see so you can get classified. And once you get classified, then you get shipped out to whichever prison you're going to. They give you your maximum level or your custody level. And at that time, South Carolina had 3 different female institutions. We had the Women's Center, we had Leith Correctional, and we had State Park. State Park was a co-ed prison. There was males and females there at State Park. They were the ones that was able to handle their own money, physical money. That was a co-ed prison. James Brown did his time at State Park Correctional. So it is what it is. Those of you that have done time in South Carolina, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. When I first went up for parole, I was at, where was I? I was at Leith. I had to go all the way to Perry Correctional Institute to go in front of the parole board. I remember the people there. I remember certain things that happened that day. Shout out to the chat. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa 914, which is County, New York. Tupac Shakur was right. He was absolutely correct. Certain ones of us that are fans of Tupac Shakur, we still listen to his music. We still look at his videos. You remember that video he came out with before he died? It was called Hit 'Em Up, where he talked about Puff Daddy, which is Diddy, Biggie Smalls, and the rest of those people that was with Bad Boy Records, because Death Row Records And Bad Boy Records at that time was at war with each other. We had the East Coast, West Coast war going on. Motherfuckers was hating on New York. Even though rap music, hip hop came from fucking New York. It came from the streets of the Bronx, the South Bronx. That's where it came from. Now hip hop is famous everywhere. Everyone wants to be a rapper. We got motherfuckers in their 40s want to be rappers. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. I got a friend right now. He's in his 40s. He still has dreams of becoming a rapper. I said, if you become a rapper now, you're going to have to go underground. You're going to have to write your own material, go to the studio, put out your little material, whatever. But it's too old. It's too late to become a rapper. Shit, you'll in a few more years, you'll be a senior citizen. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm just keeping it real. Like Ronald Jones says, he's a realist. You got to keep it real, right, Ronald Jones? Anyway, I'm out of here, you guys. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. And shout out again to my subscribers, my new subscribers, those who've been riding with me from my big channel to this channel. Shout out to you. Those of you that are not here, you will catch the playback. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. Peace.